in a T3 for, and that's a warning level issued to the residents of Macau for the level of wind. For a little while, we were worried it was going to be more windy than that, but T3 was as gusty as the wind got, and it was very gusty yesterday. Taming an umbrella was not the work of a moment.
It was good to watch, though, as you tried to tame it.
Thanks very much.
Now, yesterday we had one or two drivers being fined for crossing the pit exit line. Let's hope they don't do it again now, because that is an absolute no-no. Financial penalties rather than anything more draconian than that. But the cars then go pouring out. If you've not seen the Macau Roadsport Challenge, because this is what the cars come from, their season-long championship, into the Macau SAR Establishment Cup, you either have a Toyota GR86 or a Subaru BRZ. Those are the eligible cars. It was a pretty decent split. I think last year it was more Toyota than Subaru, but the Subarus are becoming more common again. And the Macau Roadsport Challenge has enough cars for 2 groups for its championship season. It has 4 events, and then you take those points. The top 14 from each of the 2 groups go into this race, or are eligible to go into this race, and the remainder go into the Roadsport Challenge race that we've already seen qualifying today.
So, after you.
I was going to say that number 1, Thomas Chak Chung, is one of the drivers fined yesterday for crossing the pit exit line. I'll only mention his name because the way the timing screen is displaying everybody, it is currently in numerical order rather than anything else, because there was at a time.
Yeah, quite a few of them yesterday, as you say, getting those warnings yesterday. In the UK, when we go racing, we're so used to warnings going out for track limits, aren't we? Here, it's yeah, that all-important line, which they are warned about and sometimes reprimanded about as well.
And isn't it nice not to have to worry about track limits? Because here, if you exceed track limits, you're in the wall.
Oh, it's a joy not to have to talk about them.
Drama already, though, for number 41, which is Vincent Yip, who's gone up the escape road at Lisboa, but thankfully has not only the engine still running, but the lock as well, to be able to turn around that car and rejoin.
And that just reiterates the point that you were saying. It is dry online in quite a few areas of the 6.1 kilometre circuit, but if you have to go offline, that's when it becomes all a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, indeed.
And the road sports that we saw earlier on almost had a 100% record, didn't they? It was only in the last 5 minutes that the session had to be stopped and not restarted, so the onus is now very much on the Macau SAR Establishment Cup competitors for keeping a clean copybook this on day 2. No stoppages yesterday. Let's see if we can get through the whole of qualifying without any stoppages today. So it's not something we've seen that much over the last couple of days. Weaving the cars to get a bit of heat into the tyres because it has been wet up until this point. There hasn't been an awful lot of opportunity to weave the cars from side to side and get a bit of heat building up in the rubber. But now they've got the opportunity to do so. It's that overhead view of the Macao hairpin. You can see it's dried out quite a bit in the last half an hour. It was a lot wetter on the outside line there, going around the Macao hairpin half an hour ago. Right, we're on to the first of the flying laps. The out laps complete, and a great field this for the Macau Roadsport, yeah. Macau SAR Establishment Cup, and here we go.
And in theory, these are going to be the star drivers out of that season-long competition anyway, because if you're in the top 14 in your group, you're eligible for this race. So here you're talking about race winners, you're talking about champions. Adrian Chung, as an example, 4 second places. Race winners include Wang Chuk Pan, Damon Champ, 4 race wins, never bettered in his group. You've got Chan Kar Ping as a race winner as well. So, you know, some really quick people are out there, and the road is getting faster all the time because it's getting drier all the time. And we've also got a car under investigation for crossing the dreaded pit exit line, and it's a race winner this year, Chan Kar Ping, with the Mogan Team Track Day King Subaru BRZ that is already being looked at.
Plenty of entries from the Mogan Team Track Day King squad. and all busy working down there in the car park, the underground car park here at Macau, which offers the facilities for the preparation of these cars for the 2 road sport categories and for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup and the Macau Gear Race as well. And big damage for the 77 car. That's Zhou Zurui in the Subaru, the car stricken in the middle of the circuit, and it naturally brings out the red flag. Quick part of the track.
Yeah, that's facing the wrong way, coming into our bend, isn't it? So he's got it wrong into the last corner. It's gone around on him. And so Zhou Zurui is, sad to say, in a very rather broken car and in a dangerous place. And no mucking about there, red flag straight away. So nobody has yet done a lap time. They all will come back to the pit lane, as you see there, Thomas Chat Chung. And it was a big, big lockup, and then into the barrier. And he's going to hit the... Oh, I see, yes, because the barrier juts out, and that's what did all the damage to flick the car around.
And pull the wheel off as well.
Wow.
So big damage there. Not such a big hit, but a damaging hit.
Yeah, that secondary impact, as it were, where the concrete and the barrier sort of overlap. That's what did the damage, and a rare incident to have there.
Yeah,
you know,
unique one.
Yeah. So you can understand why Zhou Zurui's car is as badly damaged as it is, as the rest come back to the pit lane, including Huang Ying, who took a couple of third places in the Road Sport Challenge Championship this year. If you find the positives, that car that's in need of recovery is right at the pit entrance, so it won't take long to get it off the track, if nothing else.
Yeah, that's very true indeed. So we... unfortunately, they were our last hope for having 2 sessions without an interruption. Unfortunately, early on in this session, we do have an interruption. So indication on the timing screen for drivers to keep out the way of the stricken car, and drivers indicated to keep right the way over to the left-hand side, and that will be the entrance route that they will find to get into pit lane. Not one lap completed, unfortunately.
No, it's been one of those days, hasn't it, with a lot of damage. And there, in fact, it's also taken a bite out of the barrier, hasn't it?
It does rather appear that way, doesn't it?
So where the barrier overlaps the concrete, that's where the car's gone in and ripped the barrier, as well as ripping bodywork and wheels off it.
Didn't think it looked that to be that hard a hit. Just the angle, maybe. Okay. We do see unique things here at Macau.
That's going to be the longer delay now.
That's going to take a while.
Sort out barrier damage, yeah.
That will take a while, that's for sure. So, with the Macau Road Sports making their way into pit lane, the Macau SAR Establishment Cup, their qualifying session underway at 10 past midday here in Macau, local time, due to run for half an hour. Following this today at Macau, got a busy afternoon, a very busy afternoon. 2 qualifying sessions for the Macau Gear Race at the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour event of Macau. Then the GT3 cars take to the circuit to qualify with the world's top GT drivers on circuit at Macau. And that will be just after 2 o'clock. And we have qualifying 2, which, if conditions stay the way they are, will be the only relevant qualifying session for the Macau Grand Prix. They qualified yesterday in a very, very truncated, interrupted session. 5 red flags in total yesterday on a fully wet circuit. Hopefully, today they'll be qualifying in the dry.
So the Toyotas and the Subarus from the Road Sport Challenge regulations come down the pit lane for this qualifying session for the Macau Road Sport, Macau SAR Establishment Cup qualifying session, and 1 or 2 being taken to the scrutineering patch, others released to the teams, and we will await more news as to the resumption of the session. 25 minutes on the clock, so they've still got a sensible amount of mileage to be able to be achieved, but quite how long the stoppage this is going to be is rather more of the concern.
Maybe that we get a view of the repair process So my wish comes true. It's first of all the recovery, isn't it? The wheel needs to be recovered, the car needs to be recovered, and the circuit furniture needs to be repaired. So quite a few stages to this repair. Is that fluid which has gone down as well? It is.
Yeah.
So a bit of sweeping going on, a bit of fluid dressing going on as well. The flatbed recovery vehicle in place.
Yeah, well, they've done all the front of the car, won't it, where you've got the radiator, where you've got coolant and whatnot. So all of that's trickled onto the circuit and is going to be dealt with. Then the car itself needs retrieving, but already there's a team of people looking at the barriers. Now, down at Lisboa, it's busy.
We talked about the grandstand, the biggest grandstand I think I've ever seen, and look at it; it just goes on forever. And we're seeing it in a unique skeleton of the grandstand, because it doesn't have the tarpaulin over the top of it. Being the windy conditions over the last couple of days, we've got an open top grandstand. And the weather conditions have not in any way taken away from the joy of coming to Macau. And look, you can see people from around the world descend on Macau, all very, very happy to enjoy this, and rightly so. That grandstand is immense.
It is, yes. Just to clarify, the reason it's an open top grandstand because of the wind is that they've not put the top on it. It's not blown away.
No, it's to prevent the tarpaulin blowing away.
Yeah.
We can see them just on the grandstand in front of us. It's all rolled up, it's ready to go, it's strapped down, and I'm sure tonight the team will be very busy putting the roofs on. Really windy yesterday here at Macau.
And really wet as well. I mean, we've had 2 days of pretty heavy rain, and to say it's relentless is not quite right, because there have been periods where it's not rained, but when the rain has come, it's been long and heavy showers over the last couple of days. So the drivers are eager to get back out as ever. Let's go, 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 they're saying. But the recovery work still being completed. And the track workers have had a busy couple of hours, haven't they, with lots of cars to retrieve in different sessions. 39 there is Lamto's car.
They are used to it, aren't they, through necessity here at Macau. They are incredibly well drilled. They get on with their job. They industriously get the circuit ready to get cars back out. They turn it around so quickly. And it's a really good point, actually. We're seeing for the first time a tyre change take place, a dry tyre.
It's bold.
It is. I wasn't actually sure when they went out if anyone had initially elected to do that, but we did see a bit of weaving going on, so the opportunity to get a bit of heat into a tyre would be for a dry tyre. So the session is going to get back underway quite soon.
Excellent.
About 3 minutes.
Yeah. So
wow.
Barrier damage is not a concern.
Really good work.
It is excellent, that. The car will be off the road very swiftly, and then we'll be good to go. And still 25 minutes on the clock. Now, we're going to lose about 3, maybe more for some, with an outlap. But so let's say in real terms, competitive times will be available for 20 minutes.
Leaf blower keeping the keeping the driver as cool as can be expected inside the cockpit. They get very, very warm, and with the humidity, what was it I said, 97%,
yeah,
which is incredibly warm and sticky, even more so inside the cockpit of the car.
Interesting there, sorry to interrupt you, but wet's going back on.
Wet tyre.
Yeah.
Wet tyre. So we're going to have a mix here, and maybe our only view into who might be on a dry tyre might be to watch for weaving taking place on this outlap from the pit lane. So
very impressed though, you were able to identify Leaf Blower. There aren't many Swedish drivers here this weekend.
He's a great guy, comes back every year. Loves it.
Yeah, you can hear him rustling. Number 17 is Sabino Osorio Matias Ley, who's another regular at Macau. And we are into the last minute of, if you like, stoppage time before things get back underway here on the gear circuit.
And we've not really done anything at all, have we? We've got 25 minutes and 25 seconds of a half-an-hour session to go. Scheduled time for the start of qualifying for the Macau gear race at 12:55. So maybe we're going to get the whole of this session underway without another stoppage. Can we? Let's hope so. We see the 77 car being recovered just in front of us at the commentary box on the back of the recovery vehicle, minus that wheel. And let's see how busy that team can be to get the car repaired. The resumption of the session will be delayed until further notice. Now,
interesting.
So we've got lots of fluid down there. We had an estimated time. We were surprised that the restart time was given to be so early. They're dealing with the fluid down there. We were worried about this, which is over to the right-hand side of the of your picture, where the barrier has been damaged, and I think now they're worried about it as well. So yes, this is going to take a little while, isn't it?
It is. I'm surprised that message therefore came up actually with such a committed time to resume it. But anyway,
we both looked at each other and say, "Really? Okay, this is good news."
But the officials sorting out all the liquid that had come out of that broken car of Joe Ray, and then the barrier will be looked at as well, just to make certain that that's okay. So the rest of them sitting in the pit lane, including their Damon Chan. He's the Group A champion. So 4 wins in the champion motorsport Toyota. He's the man to beat, really. But we wouldn't yet know that, seeing that we haven't got the cars doing proper lap times yet. 39 is Lam To. If you're wondering why on the number panel there's a number and then a 71, that's to have the branding for this 71st Macau Grand Prix. Number 18 is Sekar Hing, who had a 3rd place in his group, Group A. And number 6 is Cheng Hinghua's SS Racing Team, Toyota. So that car also ready to go. And further down the pit road, Vincent Yip's car. That, I think, was one that we saw at the escape road down at Lisboa early on, didn't we? 6th in Group B in the championship this year. Number 1 is Thomas Chap Chung for Monkey Racing.
Great team name, great team logo as well.
Yeah.
Really cool. Number 15, Action Chan, and big banners all the way around where they're working on the car. Action, action, everywhere.
Well, we would like some, but at the moment we are under this red flag hiatus with the circuit surface being treated.
It's interesting as well that the drivers, irrespective of the fact that they have been told potentially there could be quite a delay now, but they stay in the car. They're not taking the helmets off. They're used to the humidity of this region of the world, so it's not too much of a problem. You would imagine if you and I were sat in the car, we'd be out there trying to get as much sort of fresh air as you possibly can without being stuck inside. So is the problem more to do with the fluid that's gone down on the circuit?
Looks like it, doesn't it? Because there's nobody really now touching the barrier.
No.
But there would have been a lot of liquid, a lot of coolant and the like that has come out of the front of that car. So you've got to treat it. It's obviously a slick all the way across from where the car rested. But then you can't just leave all that sand or cement dust or speedy dry, whatever you want to call it, lying there. You've got to sweep that in. So the bigger the patch, the more sweeping required. So lots of sweeping going on, and as soon as the cars are going to be released once more onto the circuit. 48 is Carson Tang, another regular here over the years, and has been 5th within the championship this year, and even fist bumps the camera lens. There you go. And good characters in these races. So that car ready to go. So is Ivan Cito, who was good yesterday, got quicker and quicker as the free practice period wore on. Yesterday's free practice session was on a slippery circuit, but it was Jack Tin Chung who went fastest right at the very end, 3 minutes 9.277.
That's the car of Fonking Learn in the Parkview Motorsport Subaru. Number 14, the very bright red and yellow car of Lopak Yu in the 778 Autosport entered Toyota. Cameraman making his way right the way down pit lane and giving a fair bit of airtime for each of the drivers as they do their very best to remain focused on the potential restart for this session. The 55 car of Huan Ying in the Pikachu Pokemon liveried mustard yellow Subaru. The 24 car, that's the car of Chun Young in one of the Mogan Team Track Day King Toyotas, and a very, very bright yellow and lime green Toyota from the RPM racing team of Sabino Osorio Matthias Lay, one of the regulars here at Macau year after year, and a nod for the camera. 36 as we make our way right the way down the pit lane. That's Lo Kai Tim in the 36 Toyota. And although it's frustrating for the drivers not to be out on circuit, it is an opportunity for the drivers to get a little bit of airtime.
Yeah, true.
And show off their cars a little bit closer.
And it also therefore allows them to prove that although these, we dub these the local races, it shows the rest of the world the level at which Chinese motorsport, Hong Kong motorsport, Macau motorsport operates, because these are all very, very well run, very well presented cars. You know, we don't have them, we're about a minute away from the green flag, by the way. We don't have these cars, you know, with mechanical problems. Okay, there might be the odd incident. Yes, we've just seen it, but, you know, they're not blowing engines, they're not dropping oil, they're properly run cars by proper teams. And if you think, oh, you know, motor racing out there, it's not going to be anything like we have in Europe, well, think again. And this is a great advert for it.
Honestly, I think we could all learn a little bit about their livery presentation, because it is so creative and thoughtful. And I would, if I was part of a team racing in the UK, I would come back from here and thinking, can we do that? Could we do something like that? Because I tell you what, your car would stand out, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely right. Yeah, it's not just the colours, it's the design, it's the fonts, it's the characters that are used. Yes. Right, we are about 5 seconds away from that light that's red becoming a light that is green. And when it does, now we are going to be underway for the resumption of qualifying and keep everything crossed that they all behave themselves. Alan was absolutely right earlier on when he touched on the fact that yesterday the Roadsport drivers got through both of the free practice periods without any stoppages at all, and today we've had a red flag in each.
Yes.
My Roadsport drivers, you get called in. Well, let's see whether they are going to behave themselves now.
Nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. Move on. However, while they've been sitting there, the road has got that little bit drier again. There are still these damp patches, which is going to be to the frustration of the motorbikes, because it's tantalisingly close to being dry, but not dry enough yet.
It is so close to being dry, isn't it? And we've seen this process over the last couple of hours, and unfortunately we see car covers going over recovered cars just over the other side of our commentary box, and we've seen a few bitten cars today here at Macau in the qualifying sessions that we have had thus far. and just a warning that we've got that slippery surface down there, which the marshals have dealt with, but just officially reminding all the drivers that there is an area of the circuit where the slippery surface has been dressed, and it might be a little bit more slippery than they expect. Look at the dry tarmac.
And wipers on.
Yeah, yes.
Everybody.
All of them with wipers on. So they know something we don't on this section of the circuit here at Macau.
Unless it's just the humidity and the sort of dampness in the air that's getting onto the screen.
Oh no, poncho's going on.
Oh dear.
So
that wasn't the plan.
In the grandstand underneath our commentary box, just stood up to have a look down there, and yes, so all that good work that the Sunshine has been doing over the last couple of hours is all being undone rather quickly.
However, nobody had done a lap time in the dry, so it's a level playing field. It might be getting to be a damp playing field, but it's level because nobody has got a time yet. What you do need to do is get a time in early, because theoretically the track surface will only deteriorate.
But that said, there might be a few cars that are out on the wrong tyre at the end of this outlap, do you think?
Yeah, but I think depending on the heaviness of the rain, if you can still make your slick tyre work and warmth is in it, it'll still cut through a bit of drizzle. If it's heavy rain, obviously not, but depending on what we've got, then okay, ponchos are up, but it's I can't see anything in our little puddle.
No, it was these people just in front of us to the right that had put their hoods up. They've now taken the hoods down.
Right.
So maybe it was just a very short, sharp bit of rain.
You spit some spots.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, let's see, because right now, drivers pressing on, and as I say, if they've got warmth in the tyre, that'll work over a little bit of light drizzle. Anything more serious than that, will reset. So the cars pour their way through. You can see there the speedy dry that cuts across the racing line. Up towards the timing line comes Jack Tim Chung, who was quickest yesterday. Also there, number 29, which is the Chen Da-Xing car. And a little bit further back in the queue, number 41 has gone by Vincent Yip. So circuit's got busy once again. Everybody back out, and trying to get track
declared wet.
Yes, okay. That really is just to put the emphasis on the driver choosing the tyre. We've got another one in the wall. Thankfully, though, I think getting out of the way, that the yellow flags wave. Now the car in question has just hidden itself behind the barrier, and the green flag therefore is the other side of Mandarin. Down towards Lisboa they come, but was that a car that had hit the barrier pretty hard and had to limp out of the way, or was it a mechanical problem? Try and work out which one it was as well as they come to Lisboa. There it is. You can see that little gap in the barriers, and the car has aimed for it and parked, so it's off the racing line.
It's done well, hasn't it,
yeah,
to just tuck itself out of the way.
And there was a big slide, and sort of goes in backwards. Now, who was that? It wasn't Ibicito, was it?
Keeping an eye on Damon Chan on this lap.
Another one to the wall. Big tyre squeal. And there, number 29. I think the car has got away with it, Chen Da-Xing's car, but yes, he has. But that was a moment that almost, I think, created more damage, but he survived it.
Car number 21, Damon Chan, is currently third with a purple sector in sector 1 and 2, but this is going to, unfortunately, interrupt our session once again.
Cheng Hinghua is the driver of number 8 that's in the wall. So drivers are pushing on because they need to, because they want to get a time in before the weather conditions might be changing on them. But sad to say, we've got more and more damaged cars around the road now. That car that spun at Mandarin is still trying to get to the bottom of, but hasn't got going yet, I don't think. Having said that, we're not being told about yellow flags anywhere, so the race control team happy to let the road sports go for now, at least.
Yeah, with just under 20 minutes remaining, getting it wrong at Lisboa. Was that the 41 car?
It was.
That was the car of Vincent Yip. Hong Kong driver in the Toyota gets going again down at Lisboa. They are having problems all around the circuit with this little sprinkling of rain.
I'm not sure that was Lisboa. I think it might have been sort of far away part of the circuit.
Right.
Because I think he got through there. He was sort of doing what Alex Dunn did almost in the FR session and going up the escape road. But it does illustrate, as you rightly say, that it's treacherous all the way around now. Number 21 goes through. That's Damon Chan, who ought to be up near the top of the times, if not the very top at the end of this lap, as he comes through on the tail there of Chiang Kin Sang, who goes fastest, but then Damon Chan does a 2:55.013. So through he goes, and the Group A champion to the top. Here we go. This is going to illustrate Vincent Yip, and I think it's a bit of hit and shoulder, isn't it? Because up the inside, all locked up, when Adrian Chung and Vincent Yip gave him room, but then found himself heading towards the escape road.
Yeah, really nowhere to go, was there? So they can slip past each other on this section in the road sports. They are a little bit smaller than maybe a GT4 car or a GT3 car, so there is room to squeeze through, but it's tight. Boy, is it tight. You just saw there's nowhere to turn in on the corner if you are side by side. So, yeah, unfortunate that. Damon Chan, meanwhile, in car number 21, top of the times with a 2:55.013.
So there is Damon Chan, and now that he's wriggled himself through the traffic, he's got nobody around him. Perversely, though, his first sector was a little bit down. What's happened to the Macao hairpin, we are about to discover, as late on the brakes, into the corner, lack of lock, possibly, and drivers slow right down because they think I'm not going to make the corner, and it's a bit tippy-toey, but the second car able to get through on the inside. Still, look, sitting up against the barrier there is Chung Hinghua's Toyota, so they've just left it there and hope that the drivers are going to be able to respect that and not clatter into it, and therefore the session can carry on.
Back with our quickest car on circuit, Damon Chan, car number 21, with the top time at the moment at 2:55, threading his way halfway around the lap now. Windscreen wipers with a clue that told us that there was unfortunately a bit of rain falling. That's the 81 car. Mentioned earlier on about Hu Zholiang's Team Prospect Subaru and how beautifully bright and colourful that car was. It's not going very well now.
No, he's hit the wall, hasn't he? Because you can see the rather pigeon-toed suspension. Damon Chan, though, is showing people how you should be doing it. He comes to the Macao hairpin, and another very badly damaged car there is going no further, and trying to work out who that one is. Vincent Yip, it is, number 41. Lots of damage at the front, and although he's going to try and wriggle his way out of that car, the crane hook is coming down. Let's hope that can be shifted. No, red flag. Red flag. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yet to get to the halfway point in this qualifying session for the Macau Roadsport Macau SAR Special Administrative Region Establishment Cup, unique for this year here at Macau in 2024, the 71st Macau Grand Prix. And that rather pigeon-toed car is still making its way back.
Vincent Yip just understeered out wide, and he never made the corner. Breaks the front right, was lucky not to get collected by Chung Chen Yuan. But the session will not be resumed because there is, of course, the need to keep the timetable moving, and so the session ain't going to be resumed after that second red flag.
Which rather goes to prove you have to be out there at the earliest available opportunity. No point in waiting in pit lane. We were talking about that. Why do you not hang back and wait for a little bit of clear track? Well, that's the reason. They've only had 4 laps and the qualifying session is done.
So after being really impressive yesterday, and bearing in mind that within about 10 minutes the touring car session's meant to start, the second red flag brings to a close the Macau SAR Establishment Cup qualifying session, and with the need to keep things on schedule and with live television for qualifying for touring car racing, of course, in other regions.
And motorcycles yet to turn a wheel.
Motorcycles yet to turn a wheel, yeah. We aren't having the road sports back on track. Damon Chan then takes pole position from Chan Kin Sang and Lu Long Yin third. Fourth, Ivan Sito from Adrian Chung and then Huang Ying. Seventh was Lo Pat Yu, Yu Lung. Eighth, then it was Roy Tang. Ninth quickest, and Wong Chuk Pan rounding out the top 10. And 2 red flags and not even half the session done. Damon Chan the fastest. Just a quick look at the rest of the order. Cheng Hoi Man 11th from Chan Ka Ping and Chung Chun Yuan. Then Lo Kai Tim. Carlson Tang was 15th from Jack Tin Chung. Now that's the significant one. Jack Tin Chung quickest yesterday in free practice, only 16th because never got a proper lap in. Vincent Yip's badly damaged car 17th, and you can see what 4 or 5 of them didn't get a lap time in at all because of the damage.